When you start believing in yourself, the world starts believing in yourself. You're not the body, right? And you're not your emotions. You're not your thoughts. You're just a pure consciousness. But the moment you're anchored, you're grounded, you're rooted, nobody can shake you that day. Hello, it's just an emotion. It's in your control.
Please give yourself 5 minutes, meditate, and start it slow.
Like, how often do you sit and play games days together?
And I need to work on myself on all of these things. That needs brutal honesty with self.
Everything wrong happens only to them. Everything bad happens only to them. It becomes very difficult to stay with that negative energy.
They realized that they're not their true self, and that's what caused that anger, irritation. They all need a safe space where it's non-judgmental.
Because I think there are few battles that you are fighting within yourself. No one knows it. People are only expecting outcomes.
Move from time management to energy management.
Hi guys, I'm Ishita
And I'm Kanishka.
and welcome to Drop the Filter.
Today's guest isn't someone who woke up and decided to be spiritual.
She lived inside boardrooms, presentations, a lot of pressure.
With over 16 years in the corporate world, she understands strategy and success very well.
But somewhere along the way, she felt like something was missing and she created a space that built a gap between strategy and soul.
She believed that fulfillment wasn't from the outside, it was from the within.
And today with us, we have Anushree Jain, the founder of Padme Oasis. So before we get into everything, first of all, welcome to Drop the Filter.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ishita.
And the first thing I want to ask is why Padme?
Well, that's a good question to start with. Thank you. So Padme is very close to my heart of many reasons. But why Padme and what does really Padme mean out there is Padme stands for path to awareness and discovery with mystical energies. And I think all of us as souls, if we have that pure awareness and we can choose that path and tap into those energies within us, our life can become a better place for all of us. And the meaning of oasis, just to add, it's like in every desert you find an oasis, and there is an oasis within all of us. And if we know how to tap into it and, to make the most of it in our lives, I think that's the best thing which we can do for ourselves.
That's really deep, I think, to start with. And also, how are you currently doing in this phase of your life?
Well, I would say I'm taking baby steps and I'm very contentful of what I'm doing. I'm not targeting any goals, any KPRs anymore, but I am very happy in what I'm doing. Why? Because I'm learning. Every time I'm speaking to a new person, I coach a new person, I heal a new person. There's so much to learn from them. And every time I do that, there's something new which comes up. So I love people. I love knowing people's challenges because that helps me to see what can be different kind of solutions, what can be different kind of approaches. And I think that is what is keeping me going.
I love that.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people don't understand what a life coach is. Like, what do you mean by a life coach? Are you helping them excel in life, or what do you mean by a life coach?
Okay, let's start with what is life, right? Life is a very big umbrella. You have
That's
a lot
true.
of things. You have multiple responsibilities. You're a partner and spouse to somebody. You're a daughter to somebody. You're a son to somebody, right? You're a sibling to somebody. You may be a different role in your corporate. You may be a leader to somebody. You may be a role model for somebody. But at the same time, life is still happening to you. You're at the end of the day a human being, right?
Correct.
A being of consciousness. And at the life, when you start operating yourself from a being of a consciousness, you can still manage all of these roles well. And a life coach is trying to be a partner in that journey to just help you navigate that path. Like you
Got
may
it.
have X, Y, Z challenges. It could be your career, it could be in your relationships, it could be your health, it could be the way you think of yourself, it could be some of the barriers or limitations you haven't been able to move further in your life. And I think that's where life coach comes in play.
So, at what point did your life started asking questions that probably your career wasn't answering?
And plus, I'll add to that, you were in this corporate industry for so long. So when did you also step in and think to change this for yourself?
I would say my journey began 12 plus years back when I started into my journey of energy healing, and that's where a lot of things started changing in my life. When did I decide that there's something more I have to do beyond the corporate? Well, that started something 6 7 years back, where I was doing my roles in the corporate, but I was more of a people person. People approached me. It was very natural to me. It was very organic. I need not put up a different face or a mask for it. And they came to me with a lot of their challenges, problems, and innately, because of the practice which I do, because of the school which I'm attached to, the solutions just flew in, because I also have applied them in life. It's just not I'm preaching something, it's something which I have lived firsthand, and I know what even somebody else is going through.
Correct.
When I saw that I should come on the other side of the corporate, where I can be of more help to people, because I have applied certain things in life, and there is more than just chasing a goal, right? There's more than just getting that role in that organization or in that leadership board. There's more beyond that, and I think that starts within. And if all of us start realizing, then I think life will really become a beautiful place to be. And that's when I said, okay, there's more to me than in the corporate, and let me just go ahead and give myself that chance, that leap of faith that I can do this.
Do you think there was a slow realization,
Yeah.
or was there a point that made you think this way?
It was a continuous process, Kanishka. It wasn't a tangent to shift, because honestly, you get paycheck to paycheck every month.
Correct.
Corporate, right?
Yeah.
And for you to realize that you have to get rid of that and you have to take something of your own, you have to believe in yourself, right?
Absolutely.
And when you start believing in yourself, the world starts believing in yourself. And I think to take that leap of faith, well, that took me some time. So
Yeah.
situation happens in your life where you come to a point and, okay, it's high time, let me just do this now.
Correct.
Yeah, so that happened to me a couple of years back. But as you said, it was not just a point, it was just like a continuous process. It was there always in the back of my mind.
Got it.
How do you also explain this process to people? Because I think a lot of people do run in this corporate field and they are not happy. They just feel like the whole thing of paycheck coming and like, yeah, we are satisfied. But deep inside, I think those people know they're actually not satisfied or happy, because they're just in a race, of competing with other people. So how do you teach this to other people in your community in a way?
See, there are two ways to look into it. Money is definitely required for all of us to make the living, right? Satisfaction comes within. Now, maybe a role which I'm performing in my corporate life, that requires a certain number of skill, but does that skill really innately resonates with who I am as a person, who I am as a being, and am I giving 100% is the first question. Some of the times we're just doing a work because we are trying to fit in the society's purview that we have to do this work. If we all just shift the tangent and ask ourselves, okay, I need to do something, I also need to earn money, what's the best I can put in order to do this? It's a change in mind shift. It's a change in the perspective and how we look into that role. It's a change in perspective that how am I looking in my career? It could be anything, like even in the relationship, because once you're in corporate, then you have life, you have a partner, you get married, you have kids. The life happens. It's all, some of them go by the design of society, some of them go a little pivotal from this design of the society, but happens.
Correct.
But perspective, the moment you change your perspective, because everything has different level of truths. What we see, maybe like what I'm looking at this cup is just looking at this one dimension. Maybe what you and she may be seeing in this cup would be a completely different dimension. The moment we change that perspective and that dimension and start looking within, because most of the times we're looking outside and we're looking for solutions outside. We're looking like, hey, that person's life is like that. Hey, she's doing this, he's doing this, but hello, what's happening in? And I think this is what brings that change.
Yeah.
And I think once you start doing that, any role, it could be corporate, you're an entrepreneur, you're figuring out something for yourself, you wanted to vouch on your startup company, it could be anything. But just try to shift that perspective and look within, turn that lens, and I think things will just start shifting.
I think more than like also with this like believing in yourself, because I think nowadays a lot of people actually don't believe in themselves, like even starting with me, starting this podcast, like for both of us, I think we did had a little bit of self-doubt in between us, because we just got done with our college apparently, and we were looking for something outside the corporate world, and that took a lot of toll on both of us to believe in ourselves, because this is not industry that my parents would understand. So it was definitely like believing in yourself and changing the perspective for yourself and like for your family as well.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Right.
that makes sense with the whole idea of that.
I
You know.
think so. What do you think changed in terms of your goal when you were a corporate? Uh, someone who worked when you were working in the corporate, you had some goals, I'm assuming, and now your career path has
Yeah.
changed. So how did the goals change? Are the goals still the same?
Well, definitely goals are not the same anymore, right? Because when you're in corporate, you want to, when you start, especially in corporate, there's a, hierarchy, and you always want to be in the top of the hierarchy,
Correct.
right? You're just aiming for that. But right now, I'm not aiming for anything in this part of my career. I'm just looking at how can I touch more people? How can I touch more souls? How can I learn more from everybody? Trust me, every time I'm sitting and talking and having a conversation for 15 minutes, it's a reflection from me. What did that person teach me today?
Wow.
So it's no more a goal, it's more of a continuous learning. It's more of just being myself, and just giving my best. I'm not looking at the end result anyway.
And learning like both ways, like you give and like give and take, kind. Oh, that's kind of deep. Yeah, but we see in social media like a lot of things. You should journal, but a lot of people might not be able to do that every day. So, what do you think should be the first step that they shouldn't do, and a first step that they should to build a successful career, not in just terms of like corporate and job, just for themselves also to be happy and like a peaceful life.
Thank you for that question. And see, as I said, we are all being of consciousness, right?
Yeah.
And if in the early morning, most of us, we just pick the phone, we would like to scroll. What is the message? What's the next email? Or what's the Teams ping over the night? If you could just keep all that away and just take 4 to 5 minutes and just close your eyes and realize yourself that you're not the body, right? And you're not your emotions. You're not your thoughts. You're just a pure consciousness, right? And tell yourself that you're the best and you can do this. And every day you're grateful for that morning that you could see that sun. You're grateful for that you have a roof over your head. You're grateful that you're going to start a day and whatever you have ahead of day. So when you anchor yourself every day morning from a pure understanding of consciousness, from a pure understanding of who you are, this awareness shifts your entire perspective of how you will deal with your day, because you're grounding yourself, you're anchoring, you're rooting to yourself, right? And then you do everything. I mean, definitely you have so many things to do, you have multifaceted roles to play, but the moment you're anchored, you're grounded, you're rooted, nobody can shake you that day. And I think just spending that 4 to 5 minutes just to start with, you can do so many other things. Like you said, you can journal, you can write what you're grateful for, you can have a gratitude journal, you can do a lot of things. But just being there, being thankful, being grateful, and just anchoring and rooting that you're a pure consciousness, I think that really helps.
I think it takes time, right? Like consistency to be, I think, even grounded nowadays. I feel a lot of people are not grounded. So,
And I think, like you said, it's more of a process within. A lot of people, as much as it's good, it's also bad how we get influenced by social media, because you would want to do it for the first 1 week because you saw it somewhere. But then it becomes hectic because you see it as a chore you want to tick off. It becomes a part of your to-do list that you should say words of affirmations. And then it's just like any other thing, you'll just get bored of it. But I don't think people don't realize the depth of it.
You're right, Kanishka, but I think if I and you just understand that if there is a change which I have made in my life and that's really making a change in me and in you for good, why would I not use that as my daily habit? Like if I don't brush for like I choose to brush for like 7 days and I choose not to brush on the 8th, 9th and 10th day, my mouth is smelling, right? In the same way, if I choose not to do certain things, I'm also not being a pure consciousness, right? I'm overloaded with so much of negativity thoughts. I'm overloaded with so many emotional garbages. There are so many things happening around me. So, like we take care of our physical hygiene, if all of us start taking care of our etheric hygiene, like be good in your thoughts, be good in the way you feel, be good the way you talk, your words, speech, your actions. All of this will also try to help you to become a better person. So, but the only thing is we don't have that awareness because
Correct.
we are just going with the rut of the life. It's just like, we all are in an autopilot mode. Just press the buttons and we are there. So I think that's where the awareness, the shift in that awareness that, hey, what you're thinking is not you, what you're feeling is not you, what you're doing is not you. You have the control over all of these things. Most of the time, we are driven by our thoughts, we are driven by our emotions, and we are, you know, uh, just wallowing in that emotion for weeks, sometimes even months,
Yeah.
right? And we don't want to let go of that. Hello, it's just an emotion, it's in your control, right? So, if we can start getting that awareness just by 5 minutes every day morning, making you realize that we are not the body, and we are not our minds, we are not our emotions, we are not our thoughts. This is called soul affirmation. This has been given by our guru, Master Chokoksi. And just practicing this small soul affirmation, realizing that even in the Hindu culture, it's called, the I am affirmation. Even Ramana Maharshi has spoken about it. So there are a lot of spiritual leaders who have, spoken about this. But
Correct.
the point is, how are we implementing this in our life? Because you will get the taste of it slowly.
Yeah.
It's a slow process. I have a very question to ask you. I'm very eager to ask this about what is your non-negotiable thing that you swear by in your life currently that you won't give up.
I won't give up meditating every day.
Oh my god, I think it's very tough.
How do you start? If there's a beginner who wants to start meditating, how should he or she do it?
Just start with that 5 minutes every day morning.
Would you suggest guided meditation, or what is meditation?
Meditation is nothing but just being aware of who you are. Like I said, being watchful of your mind. What is your mind creating now? Being watchful of your emotions. What is your emotions driving you to do? Right? And being watchful of your actions. Am I doing something right? So, for me, in simple words, just to put it out there, what is meditation? Just being aware of who you are and just tapping to something more higher than your consciousness, right? Because all of us are being of something more powerful than us. So meditation is definitely not a challenging thing, and if you can just start with that 4 to 5 minutes every day in the start of your morning, where you remind yourself who you are, you ground yourself, you root yourself, you're grateful for your day, I think that's good enough.
So there is no rule book for meditation.
Well, there are so many meditations out there.
Correct.
It's like a flavor of ice creams. It's like a buffet out there, right? You can go and choose, but don't get overwhelmed. Just
Yeah.
start with what you have. That 5 minutes is good to go to start with. And what can you do in that 5 minutes? Like I just said, look at yourself where you are today. What did I create in my thoughts yesterday? Was I kind? Was I vulnerable? Was I tough to somebody? Was I angry too much yesterday? Was I generous, right? In my emotions, was I, you know, too much to handle myself? Was I kind in sharing my love? In my words, did I be very rude? Or was I kind even knowing that the opposite person is not being kind? So these are the reflections you can do at different levels and just ask yourself, in my thoughts, how am I?
Yeah, I think for me personally, I get distracted very easily. So imagine I'm meditating, and even if I hear some wind noise, I think I'll get distracted. I think it takes time to get to that, and I'm not talking like some proper guruji levels of just sitting for 100 hours, but I think even 5 minutes of meditation, what I have seen, my dad has been doing it recently, he's actually more calm. The his words now, the choice of words he uses, so I think it helps, but I think it's a very slow process to reach to that level, if I'm not wrong.
It's not at all slow, it's not at all tough. We have to erase all of these words. It's the stigma which has been created. It's just the stigma, okay? So it's very easy. It's just like sit with yourself for 5 minutes. If you love doing that, Just be with yourself 5 minutes. Then you may increase it to 6, 7. You will start enjoying being with yourself.
I think everyone who's listening to this, please give yourself 5 minutes, meditate, and start it slow. I think it'll be the best.
Yeah, I think there was one more method. I don't know if it's a real method, but I asked someone if I want to start, how should I? And they said, if you're not able to talk to yourself, probably like, just count your breaths. At least I think that brings your focus to one thing. It tries to shut you off from the outside, and you're actually counting each breath, and then you're realizing that you know at what pace you're breathing and at what pace you're you know feeling a certain way.
Yeah,
So
that's again bringing your awareness to yourself.
yeah,
So
yeah,
anything which is bringing back your awareness to who you are. There are varied techniques. You can do any of them, right? But I think meditation has become also a very tabooed word where people just get scared about it. But just sit with yourself for 5 minutes. I think that's good enough and reflect of who you are as a person.
correct. I think
That's a
now,
good start.
I think the generation now is understanding the importance of knowing yourself, getting to be with yourself. I think there was like a mid years, I would say probably like millennials or my parents' age. Like, I think that's where a small shift happened. But I think now everyone wants to eat clean, be mentally clean, be physically clean, and wants to put that extra effort in yourself.
Yeah, actually, my mom sent me a message yesterday. Like, a lot of people like our age have stopped consuming alcohol so that they can be mentally and physically active. And there's a lot more mental peace now. And I think people are more kind also now, mindful of what they are saying. I don't know everyone, but like a lot of people that I know.
Generally.
That's
Yeah.
a conscious change in everybody, right? So there's a shift in the consciousness overall that people are trying to be aware of what they're thinking, what they're feeling, and again, what they're taking actions. And that's a good thing to be.
Yeah, but I think it happened because I think maybe like evolution happened, a lot of changes. Um, Even in the career options, that's why it happened. Because I think if the industry was just into the same corporate life, and then if you don't step out, you would never know. So I think all happened with the people who started it.
Yes, and I think COVID also played a very beautiful role in this because I think COVID was a boon from an aspect of mental and emotional well-being.
100%.
Until then, nobody spoke about it, and until then, we were just physical beings. We never
That's
were
very true.
emotional beings or mental beings. So today, every corporate has a touch point that they have to work on mental well-being. They have to work on
Yeah.
emotional well-being, and I think that's where it's been all spoken. It's all being taken.
I think even in schools nowadays, there are like a lot of like classes like given specifically for like mental health, and like there are a lot of like coaches in the school. You can talk therapy sessions, so just they can do
So in my
better.
son's school, they have a subject called life and living.
Wow.
So they talk about what is life about and what is living a life means like. So something similar like all of us would have had in our past, like moral science.
But very different, I think.
Very
now.
different now, but the context has changed.
Yeah, more like practical and words. Like that was like reading a book and just using it.
Yeah, I think COVID also helped with healing families together. I think I'm sure COVID wasn't great for a lot of people, and it didn't play a great role that way. But I think it really helped people with, like you said, no one was in that rut. They got time to stay at home and give. How often do you give that kind of quality time to your family? Like, how often do you sit and play games days together? That doesn't happen once you're grown up, right? Like watching my dad and granddad and like the entire family sitting and playing cards together for hours, fighting about it like children. I think it really healed a lot of people's that inner child that we say. It was really, it was a great experience for me personally in terms of family and friends and everything. So I think it did play a great role in mental health improvement of that.
Also, like what's something that we feel about personal growth for like within is nice. Like for other people it's nice, but it's actually hard within.
The outside world sees you in a context which they don't know. It's like the tip of the iceberg, right? You don't know how much down it has gone, how rooted or how deep it is. And it's okay that the world doesn't knows because you know it and you have become resilient from it. And the other perspective to also it is that if I and you are not brutally honest with ourselves of what our flaws are, what our vices are, and what needs to be fixed for us to become better versions of ourselves, we will never do that. We'll always be trying to look outward, trying to look like what the society wants us to fit in different ways. And we would also like to fit in those places. But
Correct.
if we just detach ourselves from who we are, and if we start looking at ourselves and say, hey, I can be this person and I need to work on myself on all of these things, that needs brutal honesty with self,
Yeah.
a brutal honesty with self. And the moment we do that and we start working on ourselves, we become better persons. The world doesn't needs to know, what did I go through, because the moment you go through that phase of your life, you really become so resilient, like a hard rock, that you can stand in front of so many people to not to testify what you went through, but to stand with other people who really need that help at that moment.
Do you have a moment like this in your life? Like any story that you want to share?
Oh well, there's no specific story, but as I was moving in corporates, and there were different experiences, like, and I'm grateful for all those people back in my corporate who gave me those experiences, because without those experiences, I wouldn't have realized myself, and I wouldn't have been the person who I am today. And I'm still in becoming, and I've still so much to learn and grow myself. But when just a small thing, maybe if it helps all of them, whenever there is something very tough in your life, where you feel really low, where you feel that you've really hit the bottom of the rock, do not allow yourself to sulk there. That's your power moment. If you just shift that sulking moment to your power moment, and if you say, hey, there's so much of opportunity for me to now to learn from, and can I be grateful for this this is difficult now, but it's possible. Can I be grateful for this person for giving me this tough time?
Oh God.
Yeah. And can I, what is that for me to learn? Because the moment you do that, you're
Yeah.
shifting your mind and you're not sulking anymore, right?
I think that is a very important thing because I have never been someone who acknowledges victimization. Sometimes there are people who sit in that, this happens only to me. Why is this happening to me? And I find it very difficult to deal with that because I am a person who, which as bad as it is, I am a very opinionated person, right? So, I mean, I will not say it out loud to the person, but in my head, I'm like, that's not the process, right? I'm usually more solution oriented. Like, okay, fine, this is happening. What's the next step to get things done, right? So, when there's someone who feels like everything wrong happens only to them, everything bad happens only to them, it becomes very difficult to stay with that negative energy. And I feel like people should really try and understand that this is only harming themselves. I think victimization really, really messes up with your mental well being because they say that your heart and brain are a little stupid sometimes. They believe what you tell. And you're telling yourself that you're stupid and you're telling yourself that this happens only to you. So it's going to believe that it's happening only to you. And hence it can cause XYZ issues in the long run. How do you deal with that? Like, what do you
So
think?
it's very simple. Like you perfectly explained it now, right, Kanishka? Like, see, this shows that you have a certain level of control on your emotional body. So you know which emotions are really helpful for you in your life versus which emotions are not helpful. Victimization, sulking is not helping you. So you have the power as a person or as a being to shut it down. If all of
Yeah.
us can start looking at our emotions as an external entity and not an internal entity to be attached to it. Even the
Okay.
thoughts, right? Somebody is thinking this, okay, it's a thought, it's an external entity. It's not your internal entity, it's not who you are.
It's
If
a
you start
flowing thing.
questioning yourself, who am I really? What
Yeah.
am I actually? Am I the thought? No. Am I the emotion? No. Then why am I sulking in that? Why am I spending so many days in thinking that?
Yeah.
So if something like that happens and you can just detach and disassociate yourself, there are various techniques, you can do that. And when you do that, it really helps you to bounce back to a certain state where you can pick yourself and move ahead. The choice has to be ours, and that has to be a conscious choice.
Right.
And that conscious choice only comes when you're aware of who you are, what you're doing, where are you moving, what are your choices.
I really need to make good choices because I think I'm really bad with uh like sulking and things. Like I take it to like my grave. I think I'll take everything to my grave. So I am working on it. Like I've gotten really better with the years, but I'm still in some moments I'm like, why does this always happen with me? Like I still like for me I always text her like, why is this only happening to, and she's actually the one who's telling me, Ishita, can you like talk good things? Like even like on the podcast later, I'm saying, oh no, this will not happen. She's like, can we at least try? It just literally happened yesterday, but yeah, I'm working on it.
That's a good thing.
Yeah.
Aware of where you are.
I am. After I think in the moment I'm like, no, I'm right. I know what, and then I just avoid the topic, and I'm like, I'm fine. How are you? But I am sorry within. But I just don't know how to say. No, I am sorry. But oh my god, no, I'm just giving my opinion about the whole issue of like taking things and like not forgiving and not being grateful for a lot of things because you should be like.
Definitely. I feel like being grateful is something that now, like I was reading a book called Let Them. I don't know if uh, it's by Mel Robbins. And she speaks about how, there's a moment, the Let Them theory is basically not everything is in your control. So there's no point being upset about it. For example, so there's this theory called the airport theory, and you're at the airport and there is a queue. You will have to wait. There is nothing that's going to change it. So you can either get angry, just be. Because being angry is only affecting you. There's nothing the external people can do. Because there are going to be 100 people before you in the line. You ended up coming late. So there's nothing that's going to happen that's going to change this moment. So might as well let it happen. And I think that's a change that I'm consciously making right now. And I'm seeing, like, of course, I have a lot of road rage. I do. But other than that, I think slowly I'm understanding that it's fine. Like now, if I'm getting delayed because of traffic, at some point you're just gonna, in your head, you're just, like saying everything that's not gonna work out. And then now it comes for that minute, and I'm just like, but I can't do anything about it. I'm going to be late regardless, or it is already delayed. There is nothing happening that's changing this. So just be where you are. So my theory is like I just play music I like. I'm like, okay, fine, I'm getting to spend more time with my songs. So I think that's really helping me, and I think that's something that people should do, because unnecessary like anger and stress and all of this is just external. Like you said, emotions are external, and that I'm trying to place them with anger and this also.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. The word anger, if I can just spend a minute or two.
Yeah,
Please.
Okay.
please.
What is anger, if I can ask?
I have no idea. I just blame it on my father.
I just said ask my mom. Yes, really sorry, mother and father.
So anger is just a energy, right? Again, everything is
Yeah.
energy, right? So if you just consider anger as an energy of a fireball, for example, okay, and if I'm holding this fireball in my hand and I'm thinking so much bad about some ex person out there, I'm thinking of to be angry on that person, but the ball of the fire is in my hand and it's burning me. It's not burning the other person.
True.
So anger
Wow.
is just not burning anyone else, but it's just burning us. The moment we
Yeah.
realize being angry is not about that we are angry with someone else. We're actually angry with us. And that's the reason we get angry with others. So whenever you get angry, you just realize that there's a ball of fire in you and you're burning with that ball of fire. Do you want to just get rid of it or you just want to still burn yourself? Just ask.
Red. Definitely because
That's mad. Because I think one more question that I'm often asked is, so now, for example, I fought with her yesterday.
Example, yeah.
And I'm fine today. So like, there's often thing like, how are you so okay instantly? Because in my head, the moment has passed.
Yeah.
I really don't, until unless something huge has happened, I cannot sit with it and talk about it for hours. I've had that conversation, or even if I haven't, next morning I'll be okay to let go. Like I'm done with it already. And it's not because that person doesn't matter to me. It's just very natural for me to not be angry anymore. And angry for me, it's not something that I am even in the moment. Like it might hurt me, so I'll say something. Even if I don't, it might be playing it might be playing in my head, but it passes. And I honestly don't know why. I don't feel that way anymore.
That's good. That's a good
But I
posture
think,
because you're aware of it.
yeah, I think it's also like the relationship between people. I feel if they have that understanding, the anger goes off without like too much of anger.
Yeah, but before that, I strongly believe it. Relationship with self
Yeah.
comes in the first play, because the moment the relationship with yourself, like if you have a great self-esteem, you don't self-sabotage yourself, right? Your self-confidence is good. I'm not asking to be overconfident or to really brag about yourself, but when your relationship with yourself, of your self-love, self-priority, self-boundaries are great, you really do not depend on an external relationship, because what you are is what other people surrounded by you. What you project is what you attract. As simple as that.
So talking about self-love, do you think people are lacking of loving themselves nowadays?
Depends. Depends.
Also, how do you explain self love? Now, again, our generation is very self aware about self love, whether it is just to show or actually feel it, whatever it is, social media has really explained to us the idea of it. But how do you explain that to someone, say my grandparents, or
Like even
someone
my
from
parents, I think they
yeah.
wouldn't I think few people of my family will be like, oh, this only happens to me, I'm like this, that's why it happens to all of you. So there's no love, like you need to believe. So how do you explain it to them? Because if I explain, I have actually about this self-love, they just don't understand the meaning of it. So how would you explain it to those people?
Well, see, it again depends upon a context. The question is, where are they really lacking this self love in their life, right? It could be because some of the people back in the generations, they believe that sacrifices were part of, doing a lot of
Yeah.
things, right?
Yes.
And in the course of that sacrifice, in the course of a lot of things, of doing what the society or the subjective generation was demanded to do, so they forgot themselves, who they are, and they just
Absolutely.
became somebody else. And as they became that somebody else, they realized that they're not their true self, and that's what caused that anger, irritation,
True.
or sadness, or that you call any emotion which is just not very great, and they're feeling it. It's because they're not feeling good inside, and they can never feel good inside until you really love yourself.
Yeah.
So do you think like past experiences or trauma can like alter the process of loving yourself?
Yeah.
Now there are a lot of people, because you spoke about past
And there are more
experience.
context to it, but I'm just not getting there. But yes, to answer your question, yes.
A lot of people now, there are a lot of people who are a certain way because of what happened in their childhood, right? How do you help those people? Because firstly, I don't think they realize it's because of that. Maybe something happened and now it's leading them to just wanting to be to themselves, not wanting to talk to anyone, just, in their bubble. And also, I feel like it also leads to trust issues, to being able to trust people with your thing. So you might as well just be someone who no one likes rather than being with people who actually might be there for you, right? So how do you deal, how not deal with, actually how do you help these people get out of the past?
Kanishka, point number one, if that person is coming for a coaching, or to have a coaching session, a mentoring session, which means that person understands that they really need to work on themselves.
Correct.
So they have already crossed a certain part of that bridge already,
Yeah.
right? So that's why they want to be there. Now, people who don't want to do that, or who have not come for seeking that help, because though we are talking about mental and emotional health back in India, there's still a taboo that you can go to a doctor for a physical ailment, but you cannot go for a coaching, you cannot go for
Absolutely.
counseling, because that's something you should be already aware of. But honestly, most of us need that, right? We need that safe
Absolutely.
space where we can be vulnerable, where we can work on ourselves. Now, understanding that I need to work on ourselves needs a mindset. I need to fix myself, right? That needs a specific mindset for me. And I'm going to somebody, I'm being with them, I'm being honest on what changes I need to make, right? That is a part of my way of telling myself that I have taken that first step in what I'm going to do the changes. Now, as a coach, as a mentor, I will guide you. I will try and look at what kind of solutions or what are the areas as an ex person needs to really work upon. But the question is, until the person is in denial, you really can't help.
Can't help. That's so true.
There are many processes to it. So a person has to shift from wanting to be changed, wanting to be okay. They want to be changed, but at sometimes there are many sessions where I just sit and listen because there's so much of baggage they're carrying, right? And
Plus, I think they need someone to listen to.
yeah, and it's okay. And I completely feel it's okay because they all need a safe space where it's non-judgmental.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I think if I'm able to provide that space for them and give that energy back to them that they're not being judged and they're perfect. See, making everybody realize that they're the best person who they can be, right? And their past, their life patterns has just been part of their life journey. And it's not who they are. They are something more beautiful and more better than that they are. So if we start making them realize that they are actually a better person, it's just that these situations, these challenges or these traumas
Has led them.
have caused certain scars. And if they can look at them as just an external entity and say that, hey, this is not me. I just temporarily shifted in my life because of these experiences. I have the control to now shift my life. I have to see, all of us are riding a car and there's a steering wheel. Now, if an ex person is coming and taking control of your steering wheel, he's going to drive the car in a different way because I gave away that control, right? And I have the gearbox with me. It's my choice in which gear I want to be. The moment I realize that the steering wheel is in my control, the gearbox is in my control, and I am in control of my life, and I can let go of all of these things. So I think, and the past scars, the past traumas, the past childhood, challenges have just made them in temporary. The choice is, do you want to keep it temporary or you want to be permanently that?
So, how do you think these people confuse healing with avoidance?
Avoidance, yeah.
That's a good question. But see, healing again is a word which has been taken very different in context. Healing is a natural process, right? Even if today I get, let's start with the physical healing. If I had to get a small cut in my finger because I was doing something. If I don't do anything and I just leave it, it's going to get healed in some time, right? In the same way, but as your body is aging, like if it's for a child, it gets healed very fast. But as your body is aging, the natural healing process is getting delayed. Why? Because the kind of prana or the flow of energy in your body is also getting limited because there are certain blocks, there are certain congestions. I'm not going deep into that, just trying to give you a gist. In the same way, when a child is a child, he's carefree. He really doesn't cares about, like he's crying in one moment and she's again laughing in one moment. They don't carry those emotions.
Yeah, they don't know much. Yeah.
We are growing up. We are holding on to the emotion. We are holding on to the thought. So there's again certain block in our emotional body, in our mental body.
Yeah.
Right? If I have to tell somebody that you need to get healed, they may feel, oh, something is wrong with me. That's the reason you're asking me to get healed.
Yeah.
Correct.
I don't want to take that approach. I'm like, what is that you're here for? Because every person is different, their acceptance of their life is very different.
True.
So if you're coming with an open mind and telling I need healing, oh wow, that's a good place to be, right? But if you're here that I have certain problems in my life and I don't know what to do about it, that is also going to go through a healing process. But if I say that you need to get healed, they may deny it upfront. But we need to just adhere to different approaches based on the personality or the identity which the person is choosing to be with.
Yeah. That's true.
Do you also feel the healing process can, like, for example, there's a person coming and you spoke about denial. So do you deal with, I wouldn't say deal, like, do you, like help them out to, like help them get out of denial, or do you not?
Yes.
You do?
Yes, yes. Because see, again, denial can be at different stages. What are they
Yeah.
denying about? Are they denying about the current situation, or are they denying about a thing in their past? Or what is it? If somebody is walking into a space where they want to be talked into, which means they have a certain level of mind change already.
Yeah.
So again, it's a gateway which as a coach you just need to figure out to give them that comfortable space.
And I think also the trust, because if once that trust is there, I think the denial stage goes slowly, because already they are, here to talk to you and without judgment. So I think the trust is one of the, I think.
Trust is one of the major pillars of coaching because without trust, a coach cannot operate with a coachee, right, or a mentor. But denial again is a process through which it exists from the system. But yes, it is possible to get rid of denial in life. And I think most of us go through and will be going through in different stages of our life, or different facets of what life is throwing to us. Maybe today I'm denying a certain thing. Tomorrow I may get rid of that, but I may choose to deny something else.
Correct.
It's just the kind of limiting belief or the pattern which I'm holding in my mind. So every day as I'm working on myself, I'm changing myself. It shifts, it works. What helps me to do that is again awareness, reflection. And how do we do that? Just spend 5 minutes with yourself every day.
A lot of people, like I would say Gen Zs nowadays, are struggling with like a career options, or like balancing it out. So do you think it's a career confusion or like identity crisis? Like, they don't know who they are, and then they want to find something just because they think they can do it, but eventually they're confused.
It's actually more to do with the identity.
Identity, right?
Because I'm assuming it's from
Yeah.
most of the thing, right? I may be wrong in different contexts, but it's mostly identity because until you realize what your identity is or who you are inside, because like you said, there are so many options of career today, and you're in pressure of your peers, your parents, your relatives, your own social circle, right? And you may be in swimming in cloud of thoughts of so many people of what to make a choice. But if your true identity is within and you know what it is, who you are, what you're really made for, you will know where to move and how to maneuver through that thing. But because there is no true self of identity found yet, and you have not looked within yet to understand a lot of things, that's where the confusion arises. And it's okay to be in that process, because that is the process which helps you to unveil. But you need to know where you are and where you need to move. You can't be stuck there for long.
So does that mean that successful people, that's like a lot of successful people are like not connected to themselves? So does it make sense with like the confusion in the career? They are successful, but they are not like satisfied.
What does success mean? Let me ask you this.
Oh my God.
I think it's very subjective.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was just.
Yeah. So success is very differently portrayed in society and corporate, right? Like you rightly said,
Yeah.
you may look successful, but that person may not be satisfied inside, you said. So success is a very different word to be used, because for me, success is within again. It's not to show the world, it's to feel that I have done something inside me which makes me feel contentful, which makes me feel satisfied. So there are different ways again. In corporate life, most of them want to be successful. They want to be, but are they is the question.
Exactly.
Because the content is not inside. You're behind a race.
Yeah.
You're behind a process which has been designed, and you're trying to follow that process.
That you need to go on.
Your identity
Yeah, exactly.
relates to that process is the question.
Question was, if someone's feeling lost from within, and but in books they're doing everything right, what do you think they're missing?
They have not yet tapped into the person who they are inside. What's their consciousness? What's their identity, like Ishita said? What am I identifying myself with? If I have not asked myself, sat down with myself and understood who am I as a true person?
I feel like a lot of people still cannot do that. Sitting with themselves, spending time with themselves is a very difficult thing for people to do. And I'm not saying it because I'm not saying it in a way that they're not doing it because it's, not cool or whatever, but I think people actually fear being alone.
Yeah.
Like, I remember one of my friends once told, like, I was very casually saying that, I went out to eat today. And she said, with who? I said, alone. And she said, I can never sit alone, whether it is in any format, whether it's at home, especially when it's outside. It's not something that's very easy for a lot of people.
You're right.
Why? And how do you think people can fix that or help themselves?
So this is where your coaches or counselors or mentors come and help, right? When especially there are a lot of people who say that there's something wrong within me, but I don't know what exactly it is. So as a coach, you can give them a space which can be more like a reflective. I can become a mirror to you, a talking mirror to you, right? Where you can throw up your projected thoughts, your ideas, and you will yourself seek out a solution out of it. So that's what a coach does. A mentor tries and puts in their own life experience to give them or maneuver that what they're thinking, where is it really leading into. So a person can come into that space, they can seek help. Not everybody, as you said, is ready to sit with themselves,
Yeah.
but at least if they have decided that they want to think about it, itself is a great awareness.
Yeah, I think nowadays people, make it a very big deal. Like, oh my God, she went. Like, Imagine, like, I went out for a movie alone. People will be like, oh my God, did you really go out alone? Like, it's a very big thing nowadays. And I think I was just talking to her like few days back. Like, one of my wish list that I want to achieve this year is to like go alone, like somewhere. And that's a big thing because I think a lot of people are scared to do it. Like, what if something will happen? What if, like, I don't have any what if people will think I don't have friends? The question of what if, it will like never stop until I think you start
Yeah, I think people are
choosing.
also scared to sit with themselves or be with them.
Yeah, and the thought.
They're real.
Their own thoughts, and they're scared of themselves
And
because the
I
moment
think,
they sit alone, they're going to think a lot of things which is not going to make them comfortable.
yeah. And also, I think a lot of people, to add to that, I think they're scared to know themselves fully.
Absolutely. That's the whole point.
Because your inner conscious actually knows who you are. And right
You're
now you're
brutally
fighting.
honest.
Yeah. And you're like at the pace where you're fighting to not know the real you. And then you sit with yourself.
And then
And
it's
then you
a
actually know.
bomb blast of so
You,
many emotions.
yeah, and you're actually writing down and you're thinking about things that you know that exist in you, but you never really gave it thought because you brushed it away because you don't want to be that person. And then you realize you are that person.
Acceptance.
Yeah, I think acceptance in every field is a very, very important. Like, for example, if you know that, mentally you're not feeling great, but the first part is denial, right? You're like, no, I'm fine. Who needs a therapist? I'll be okay. And then the second you accept, they always say that's the first step.
Yeah.
Going to therapy is not the first step. I think the first step is you want to get better. You want to see yourself in your full potential because you know you have that potential. And that's where you start. And then you start your hunt. And then I feel like all of these routes are, I'm a very, I only think positively. I don't like thinking negatively at all because I feel like the outcomes are affected majorly by it. But I think there are people who also think negatively, which is fine that you're seeing both coins, both sides of the coin, which is great. But I think you should always give slightly upper hand that things will get better. Like there are always going, and I always think that it's always put in a form of a test. Like if, for example, this particular path that you put for yourself doesn't work out. Now you expected 10 hurdles, there are 20 hurdles. But what goes in my mind is maybe the time wasn't right. Maybe this is a test to see if I can actually pull this off in these many. And if I pull this off, it will prove that I'm capable of that. So I have those kind, like for me, I have anything I have good that I have planned for me. If it doesn't happen with hurdles, I don't like accepting. Like I feel like, did I do something wrong? Or if it was so easy, why did I choose it only? Like something not so great has to happen for me to achieve what needed to be achieved. So I feel like, I'm not saying that's true to everybody, but I just feel like it's okay if there are hurdles. I think that's what makes it more fun to achieve it.
I think it's again contextual, right? That's a program you're holding on to, and you're
Yeah,
looking
no,
for that from.
definitely. I think that's how my brain works because I it's better to see it that way than to feel like it's bad.
I think for me, it's like sometimes the hurdles are fine, but I think if sometimes I'm getting it for easy, you should be proud of it.
Yeah, you should be just grateful about it. Prabha.
Yeah, I find it very difficult to do that. Like, no, it's a great thing that you can accept things the way it's coming, because
It's okay, and it's okay to be in this phase. Maybe you will overgrow and pass through this
yeah,
soon.
hopefully, because I find it very difficult to feel proud of something that comes very easily. I feel like this though I could have done. But I think there are situations that, like, you know, that you're around people and they find it difficult to do that also. And that's when they're like, it's okay, you've done it, sort of situation. But yeah, no, what I'm trying to say is there are people on both sides of the spectrum, right?
Yeah.
So how do you think middle ground can be achieved?
But why do we need middle ground?
Yeah. No one, nowadays, nobody wants the middle ground.
Until if you are feeling contentful within in what you're doing, and if it's not hurting anybody, if it's not causing any harm, it's okay. That's who you are. Why are you trying to shift an identity completely to come to a place? Again, why middle ground? Because there is reason to fit in. It's okay.
guess.
See, everybody is different, and
Yeah.
even the concept of Padme, that's the reason Padme comes in. Every person is different, and their blooming journey is different. Every lotus, not all the lotuses bloom together,
True.
right? All of our struggles are different. All of our ecosystems are different. All of our upbringings are different. All of our life situations are different. So it's okay, and all of us are unique. We are all unique beings of consciousness.
Yeah.
And we all of us are here to learn something different, to experience something different. And we need not be same. So that's completely okay.
I think that reminds me that there was we're all in that phase that we're all at different stages, like you said, not every flower blooms at the right time. I mean, at the same time. And recently I was talking to a friend of mine and I was feeling like I'm doing what I absolutely love and I'm feeling content from within. But then there are days where I'm just seeing outside, right? And I'm like, okay, this person has reached here. This person has reached here. And sometimes you feel like you're stuck. You're, just not where people your age are. And you just feel like there's something that might not be right that's happening. And as much as I don't want to feel that way, there's that one thought once a week that might just come up. You feel
okay. That's okay for it to come. At least you're aware that the thought is existing and it's not yours. You've picked it up from somewhere because the society always projects you to be at a certain age, at a certain accomplishment with certain XYZ things.
Exactly.
Right? But you're aware that it's a thought and you're aware that thought is not going to serve you.
Yeah.
So it's
Because I
okay.
feel like it really stresses you out in the long run. Because the thought.
Yeah,
Like
depends
if you
want
hold on to it.
Yeah, if you hold on to it. It
Yeah.
depends. Would you like to hold on or would you like to let it go?
No, definitely. I don't hold on to it at all. But I'm just saying it's a very constant thought that
Yes.
comes once in a while
Yes.
because, like you said, there are people around you doing society standards, according to society standards, they're doing well enough. But I think at some point, even they feel like they might not be doing enough. So I think it's a thought that comes to everyone at every phase.
If all of us just start, living internalizing things, but not externalizing things that I need to compare my life, my family with XYZ things, and just ask yourself, what does this internalizing things for me means? Am I in early satisfaction of who I am as a person? Who am I becoming? What am I trying to do with my life, with my skills, with my journey of my life and my career, relationship, whatsoever? I think that's more than enough. All of us need not be trying to achieve that glass ceiling, achievement.
Yeah, I think
Achievement is just not there. And like Ishita just mentioned, success may seem successful for leaders, but some of them are not satisfied.
Yeah.
That's true.
But for me, the true success is the moment you're satisfied inside.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think I feel the same way because so when I saw a reel, I mean, that friend sent me a reel because I was feeling that day. So the reel was basically about a Chinese bamboo that basically you sow the seed. For the first 5 years, you're really not seeing anything that's happening. It's just there. You're watering it every day. There is no shoot, there is no root, nothing. Seed exists, but nothing is happening. after 5 years, 6 weeks, it grows, I think, around 12 feet tall, because you can actually see the plant grow in front of your eyes. Because I think in a day, I don't remember the exact numbers, but it grows a certain hefty amount a day. And in the in the next 6 weeks, it's like shoot up fully. So then the perspective that they talk about is, a lot of people will say that it took 6 weeks to grow, but actually it took 5 years and 6 weeks to grow. So I think that's a concept that a lot of people should. I think that's when, I mean, every day I hear stories like that that changed my perspective a little more. And this stuck with me because I'm like, that makes so much sense, Because I think there are few battles that you are fighting within yourself. No one knows it. People are only expecting outcomes, but no one knows what you're doing every single day, what you're doing. And I feel like it's just very difficult to explain it to people on a daily basis that, okay, this happened today. And the second you do that, there is a lot more opinions that come in, and that is very bad for your brain.
There's another theory of Enso circle in Japanese, It's a circle you draw.
Okay.
And every time you draw a circle, it may not be a perfect circle. And it's just trying to remind you that your life doesn't need to be a perfect circle of everything around you.
Oh, wow.
So every day you get up, it's just like a therapy. You can just draw a circle randomly and it not be a closed one. It can be a little open in the end. You can allow things to come in. So all of us want that perfect shape.
Yeah.
So our life doesn't need to be that perfect. It's okay, because with imperfection is what we become a better people.
Correct.
Yeah.
You need not be perfect.
That's really, but also coming to the end of the segment, I have a drop the filter question for you. So, for everyone who's listening to you, what is that one thing that you want to tell everyone today that people should sit more often with?
I would just try and tell everybody one thing, because I believe in energy a lot, right? Most of us run behind time, schedule,
Yeah.
right? To do a lot of things. Try and understand what is your energy. Move from time management to energy management.
Wow.
Okay, so if I am very productive and my energies are at high in the start of the day, for some of them it is, for some of them it's midday, for some of them it's end of the day. Plan your day in that way and be productive based on your energy. Try and do energy management. Do not change your perspective. Do not stick to the so-called time management, schedule management. Yeah, you need a schedule. You need to do things in time. But you may be a person with a different energy. You may be a person with different things happening in your life. Why energy management? Because that is what makes you unique from everybody else.
Correct.
An next person may achieve a certain task maybe in 30 minutes, but you have a capability to do in 10 minutes. So try and finish them first. Then look at things, which are difficult for you. Even in relationships where you think there is too much of drain of energy happening, try and draw boundaries. Spend time in relationships where you feel contentful, where you feel happy, which is going to be productive, which is going to make you a better person. That's again
Absolutely.
energy management. Picking a phone and talking 2 hours together and feeling yourself drained is a loss of energy. How can you be productive?
I've ever heard something like that, but I think that makes a lot of sense, because for the longest time in my life, I have been told to focus on time management, which I I guess I should at some point. But what I'm trying to say is, I am also someone, I think unconsciously, I have always focused on how I'm feeling while doing a certain task, right? Because if I'm not feeling happy about something, I'm just doing it because I want to tick off that to do list. But if I have to, for example, come up with a skeleton for this podcast, and right now I'm not feeling, so I'm just doing it because I have to do it and finish it as a job. But if I'm feeling like, okay, fine, I'm excited to do this, I need to do this because I need to get the best outcome, and I'm actually looking forward to the whole idea of what's going to happen during the episode, I will give an 1,000 more percent than I was going to give in advance. So, yeah, definitely, I think that's a very, very great point.
And you should all learn, and we should also all learn how to consume our, store our energy and just not let it go. That's it.
Yeah. No, definitely.
I think that's a really good note to end this episode. How are you feeling? And did you like the whole vibe?
Yeah, I definitely liked, because it was very organic and natural, and we brought our true selves out here in
Yeah.
conversation. which is beautiful. And I hope this specific episode really helps a lot of people.
Definitely.
And thank you for doing this, Kanishka and Ashita. And I wish both of you lots of light, love, and power in what you're trying to do in your life.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It was really nice having you here. I think a lot of perspectives were changed, a lot of things were brought in. So I think it was very exciting.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Okay. Bye, guys. We'll see you on
Bye.
next
See you
Friday.
Friday.